Welcome back. In this video we will display all of the users to whom we have sent messages or we have received messages from them in our chats section. So let's get started. First of all, just go to our chats fragment and just go to its layout file and then go to context fragment and its layout file. Just copy out this recycler view from here and close this and just save it inside our chats fragment and just name it chats recycler view. And next again go to let me close extra files from here. Let's go to chats and just add some things from here. Okay, it's basically the same, everything is here same, just the difference is we want to get only the users to whom we have sent messages or we have received messages from. So this should be inside a view and then just return view and just change this to chat recycler view. Chats recycler view. Perfect. So now we have our linking process done. Let me create firebase user object here. Firebase auth, we already have firebase auth. Firebase user, just name it whatever you want to name it, f user, and I'm going to get this user auth dot get current user. Perfect. So now we want to check that if we are the current we are the receiver of messages or we are the sender of messages, then we should display that particular user there. So I'm going to make a function here. I'm just going to create a string list here, array list of type string, name it user IDs, perfect. So now I want to check this in this one. I want to just fetch first of all the chats, and from the chats I want to check that if I am the receiver of those chats or I am the sender. So for that I need to make firebase database instance that's already created here. Now let's get reference to the firebase database reference. Ref is equal to firebase database dot get reference, and I want to get reference to chats. And then I want to add a value event listener on this reference dot add value event listener, new value event listener, and inside my data on data change function, I'm going to get the current chat, and I can get that by it's actually type of message. First of all, there are multiple chats, so I need to first of all use a loop here. Data snapshot, I'm going to create a data snapshot reference here, ds, and then I want to provide it the data snapshot array dot get children. And first of all, just call here a function user IDs dot clear, that if there are user IDs already, just clear them. And then in this one I need to get one chat that is of type message, ds dot get value, and value is going to be of type message dot class. Perfect. So now on this chat object we can have a check here. If chat dot sender dot equals, I'm going to pass in the firebase user here, firebase user dot equals f user dot get uid. If this chat's sender equals to the current user that I am now signed in, then I need to add those two user IDs dot add that particular ID, and that's going to be chat dot sender. So this will add that ID to this, and I'm going to have another check here. If chat dot sender chat dot receiver if chat dot receiver dot equals f user dot get uid, then I'm the receiver of that message, then I need to add that ID to perfect. So now we have done this. Now we need to fetch those users whose IDs we have added to this user IDs array list. Sorry. So I'm going to create another function here, fetch users, alt enter to create this function. So now we have our function created here. Now we need to create another array list here that is already created, a users array list, and I'm going to get here, and I'm going to get reference to my database users. For that, database reference f is equal to firebase database dot get reference to users, reference dot add value event listener, new value event listener. Inside my on data change callback, I need to loop through these users for data snapshot ds data snapshot dot get children, and now I want to check that if the user I'm receiving now equals to the user one of the user from the user array list, then I need to save that user. So for that, ds dot get value, here I need to pass user dot class. So now I need to have another for loop here. I want to check that if the user that I have got here has the ID that is same to the ID that is this one that we have in our user IDs array list. So I'm going to loop through my user array users array list. For that I'm going to create string user ID from user IDs, and then I want to check is if this user ID dot equals the user that I'm getting here dot get dot ID. If this equals to this user ID, that means that we need to fetch this user, but we need to check another thing, that if this user already exists in our array or not. If not, then we need to add this user into our array list. For that I'm going to create another function here. If not user exists is a function, so I'm going to create this method in my chats activity and make it boolean. So I want to check that if this user, and I need to get its ID, so I'm going to get his ID, user ID, and I'm going to loop through all the users. I'm going to loop through all the user IDs. For that I'm going to create user, and I want to loop through all of the users that I have, and I want to check that if this user exists in this array list, if user dot equals if not user, if user dot ID dot equals user ID, that means that this user exists already in the array list. We don't need to add that, so I'm going to return true, this already exists. Else just keep on looping until and unless if the user exists, somehow it will enter this check. Otherwise it will keep on iterating, and it will won't find any user that has the same ID. So in that case it will come out of this loop, and we are going to return here false. Perfect. So now we can have is and we need to pass it user ID. If not user exists in database, then we need to add that into our users array list. else just miss this one. So now we have everything done here. Just we need to call here get user, sorry, grab user list, and we need to pass in the f user. So this will automatically get reference to chats, and then this will automatically fetch the users. And when this process is done here, when the users are fetched correctly, then we need to load those users in our array list, in our chats fragment here. So for that I have recycler view already set up here, and I need to create a reference to create an object of the adapter, that is user adapter. I'm going to use the same adapter that we have used for our context fragment, because there is nothing changed in that. So I'm going to use that adapter, user adapter. And remember, we need to pass it two things, one users list and the other thing was context. So I'm going to pass context and users. Perfect. But we have to change something here, and that is users dot clear when this function gets called. So it will clear up the users, and then we need to just, let me check, where is our recycler view? Here it is. User adapter dot set, sorry, recycler view dot set layout manager, and we need to pass in linear layout manager, and we need to pass in the context here, and then we can set it, this adapter, user adapter, to this one, and I think that's it. So let me run this now. Our project is launched. Let's see if it displays our chats, and you can see that it has displayed out the chat we have with the user. So it's displaying out. Let me check. So if you click on this one, it will take you to the chat, and this chat has, I think, nothing. We have sent some messages to this user. Let me send another message. This is not displaying correctly. Let me check that, why it's happening. First of all, let me see how I'm logged in. So I'm going to log out and check that. I'm going to use this image and I'm just saving out. It has the Sadak Mehdi here, and that's me actually. That's actually me. It should not display myself here. It should display the users that I have sent messages to or I have received messages from. So let me check where we went wrong. Oh, there should be receiver that we have sent messages to, and if we are the receiver there should be sender. So we have done it in a revert manner, so let's just run it again and see if it works. Because if we have sent some messages, we need to display the user that we have sent messages to. So we don't need to add the ourself here. We need to add the other user we have sent messages to or received messages from. Now you can see that it's showing correctly, and if I go to this one, and it shows out the messages. So that's it for this video. In this video we have perfectly made it to work our chats fragment. So in the next videos we will keep on working on this application. So I'm going to quickly handle one issue with this application, that is, if I press the back button, it takes me to this activity. It should not take me to this login activity. So what we can do is, if we go to our main activity, and here where we were starting another activity, you need to just hit finish here, call finish function. This will automatically close the main activity, that is the login activity, from the background. So whenever you will hit this back button, it will not take you to the back activity, that the login activity. Now if I click my back button here, as you can see that it closed the application, it doesn't went to the previous activity. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next videos.